There's Eric and Lukasz. We've got the usual suspects for this podcast. How's it going, Lukasz, Tarcy, and Eric?
Hi.
Episode 9.
Yeah.
What's our topic?
Project cars under 40K.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you guys have a good pick?
Yes.
I'm picking the GT3 RS.
You missed a few zeros there.
Version. The Miami flooded.
Yeah. Carry the decimal.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive into the topic then.
Yeah. Let's
Do
go.
it.
Let's go.
It's inexpensive. It's that
I
good.
come here for the booze and Kim's platters.
It is good here.
This is what we do prior to a podcast. Lots of good eats,
Oh yeah.
lots of good drinks.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Here's the craft services.
Wait, this is Kim Services.
This is compliments of Prabhul's lovely wife.
Yes.
Thank you, Kim.
No doing.
You got cotton candy in there too.
Very impressive.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
What
Let's
is this?
feast and we'll get to the podcast.
I don't know.
If you're a little bit like that, that's
I don't know if I'm
fine.
coming
And
back.
we're
Too many
live.
rules, guys.
And we're live.
Well, let's kick this off.
Cheers.
Hey,
Cheers to another podcast. Episode
cheers.
26? No, 9. 9.
episode 9.
Still working on views.
Finally made it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode. In this one, we have the usual suspects, Eric and Lukasz. Lukasz is back. We missed him last episode, but he's back. And we've got a new guest on the show, Tarcy. We've been trying to get him on the show for quite some time.
Time I was invited.
I'm glad you could make it out this
Yes,
time.
thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Don't be nervous, Tarcy. Just be yourself.
I'm good.
but
I'm good.
but a more interesting version of yourself. Okay.
This is not meant for kids, but we are friendly. In the
Wait,
sense.
this
Hey.
is not a PG podcast?
No.
No swearing.
Okay.
I'll bleep out swearing
All
if
right.
there is swearing.
Why'd you
and
look at
stuff.
me when you said that too?
Because you're new on the podcast, so I'm
Okay,
giving you
just so
the
it's not
ground
because
rules.
I-
Ground rules,
Not
Tarcy.
because I like to
Ground rules.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Keep it clean.
You know, like looking at some of the comments, there's a lot of people that love this sort of format, and there's a
People
few
that don't love it.
I
that
saw
don't love
that.
this format.
I saw that.
They want the car stories back.
Yes, but that's just a matter of time, right? Like
Right.
we've got
Well,
logistics.
We have some good weather now.
Yes,
Right. Do you
Today
think
is beautiful outside,
this
30
weekend
degrees.
might be a good
Yeah.
time to do something.
Yeah.
But the
What's
roads
the
are
first, What's the first car in line for car stories? Is it his RS4?
it's TBD.
TBD.
I haven't confirmed any dates.
That'd be a
with
good
people
car
yet.
to-
It's ready for you.
TBD. I haven't heard what model. Who makes the TBD?
To be determined.
Thanks.
It's got somebody else in there. I'm ready when you are. Yeah.
Let's line it out. There's a couple of people have reached out asking to do an episode. So we've got we'll talk about it when we talk about our cars as well.
Okay, good.
So in today's episode, the discussion topic is best car to mod for under $40,000.
40K project car.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's...
And you guys came up with this topic
Yeah,
over
Yeah.
a discussion.
I think
we had.
we've been having too many discussions of $200,000 plus sports cars, and it's fun to introduce a topic that I think people can relate to,
Yeah.
and is more attainable for a lot of people, right? Even ourselves. 40,000 gets you a lot of car these days, especially if you know what you're looking for.
Which is funny because we had such tough time with $500,000 and what cars would be in our car. I lost sleep all week preparing for that.
Okay.
And-
These.
and when it became like under 40, it was like, that's
Yeah.
like a no-brainer.
Pretty.
Yeah.
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 So we've all had a chance to pick our cars, and we've got some reasoning behind those, and we'll dive into that as well. So if you want to comment away down below, tell us what you would buy for $40,000 that you would mod as well. What would be your ideal modding platform?
Hey, since Tarcy's new, I always like to throw this question because you got a great car resume.
Wait,
Yes.
Yeah.
we talked about it in Car Stories.
Right.
We did an episode of him.
Well,
People know him. He's famous.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, but
No,
but I
you know,
like to talk about
This is a little
No.
podcast
Like, hey,
discussion.
top 2 cars you've owned.
Yes.
997 Turbo.
Okay.
997.1, sorry.
This
Turbo.
is very Porsche
2000.
friendly.
Yeah, I know.
Are
Friendly
you
podcast.
upset you sold it that soon? Because you own that car for how long?
I had it for 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I thought
for,
it was less than that.
No, I had it for 2 years, and that was when the dollar was at par, Canadian.
That's when I bought my first
Right.
911 too.
So
You
if
bought it from the U.S.?
Yeah, I did from Texas. I had it, and I hunted for that car. It took me forever to find. And then when I sold it 2 years later, I sold it for a little more than what I paid. But if you look now, that's one of those cars that
You should have kept.
at 100,000 kilometers, they're selling for over $100,000.
Yeah.
So super special car. But that's number one.
Okay.
And then number two.
Yeah.
Did you say two?
I said
You
two.
asked for two. Shoot.
Is that okay?
We could spend all episode on this one just
Yeah,
talking
I
about
know.
car
It's tricky.
Tarcy's
No,
collection.
no. Oh man, that's tough. Or I'd have to say, well, this is
R8.
kind of no. I'd probably
Oh.
say the RS4, my first one.
The white one.
Yeah, but now I'm back.
I like
Spoiler
that.
alert.
Kinda,
Yeah.
It's funny. I kind of, I go in
Well,
circles. and-
maybe it'll be another 997 turbo in your driveway.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe.
Or maybe the
car.
new turbo,
Yeah,
the 992.
You know what? I
Doesn't do it.
No.
It's over 200,000.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, a 997.1 is around 150 grand.
Yeah,
right
it's
now,
Yeah.
isn't it?
yeah,
It's
yeah, for
wild.
a one that you'd want with PCCBs.
Yes.
and, of course,
And mine
manual.
didn't have that. You don't like I think when they got into the .2, the 09, that's when they went with the PCCBs.
Yeah, but they
But
did.
you could get them on the night.
I think you can. They were just ultra
Yeah,
rare.
yeah,
you just
that's
could
correct.
not find it.
I think the biggest difference in a 991.1 turbo and 997 is the gearbox. Yours was a manual.
Manual.
You can't get a 991.1 in manual, right? They're all PDK.
Not the
didn't know that.
991.1.
Yeah.
991.2 you could.
Get a manual.
Get a
Manual. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. So dot ones were all PDK.
All PDK.
Right.
So they've been trying to get rid of the manual
Right.
for a very long time.
You're right. I think
Can't.
for like environmental, like gas, fuel efficiency.
Yeah.
That's why they're so cheap compared to the .2s. The .2s, well, a .2 is a .2. Not is it only the facelift, the bumpers, and all the changes, but it's also the availability of a manual
Wait,
gearbox.
you could get a 911R, which was a .1 car.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
like
I know.
$750,000
Yeah,
car.
ridiculous.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the one that tanked and people lost
Right.
money.
Everyone
Yeah.
bought
That
those,
was
and
the
then
in-between.
the .2 came out, and they did the GT3 touring
Right.
Yeah.
with
Which kind
manual.
of messed everyone
Yeah.
up.
Porsche podcast.
Okay.
that-
Yeah, that's
But that gearbox in the 997, that .1 was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So that's another pod. If you want to talk gearboxes.
Wait, was that
like
you said that was a
manual.
PDK?
no manual.
You know what?
The
best-
.1 was a Tiptronic. If you had automatic,
Yeah.
The PDK was only the .2.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Correct,
Okay,
yes.
okay. So you could
That's-
still get a manual
You can.
in the dot one.
Dot
which is
one,
good. Okay.
and the
okay.
auto
All right.
was it was not PDK.
Okay, okay.
Anyway,
Makes sense.
All right.
another
Wow.
podcast.
Well,
But you know what? The best part of that car, the best story of that car, is how he sold it. I'm not sure we have time for that story right now, but
could
that
tell
was a
him
good
everything.
story.
oh, hey, do we want to cover it now?
Let's do it quickly.
Which the
Turbo.
The turbo?
Yeah. Because you listed the car for sale, right?
Yes.
Where did you list it for sale?
I think it was on the port rent list.
Red list.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned and someone messaged you or you shot some emails back and forth, and then
Yes.
you had to drop it off somewhere, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You're okay. So oh my god, I remember the story.
A little too much.
I dropped it
brandy
off.
here.
In a gentleman, a fella in Vancouver, bought it. He was a track guy. He had a 99. He had a GT3, but an older, I guess a 997.1 GT3
Okay.
manual that he would track. He brought it down to Florida. So I dropped my car off at this like obscure. It was like the weirdest thing. It was like some yard with a small building, and he's like, just drop the car off there and they'll get it to me. And ended up going on a train or something. I don't know, but I was just like, it was the weirdest
Dirt
thing.
road.
It's like a
full
chop
of
shop.
mud.
Yeah, it was terrible. I can't believe you remember that story. I
Wow.
didn't think I told
I
that
just remember
story.
him telling me that like he sent him an address where to drop the car.
It was-
and he pulled up and it was a mud road, like a mud driveway.
Oh, yeah, it was-
and he messaged the
And
guy.
I washed the car, filled it up, like got it all nice
You
and
can
shiny.
edit this part.
Yeah,
That wasn't as great
you
of a
can.
story as I was hoping.
No,
No, but think about this. This is like a handoff. Like this is like a drug deal.
It is.
I know
Well,
it's,
that's what it felt
it
like.
sounds shady.
And
but-
then I literally dropped it off, walked in. Hey, nobody. Yeah, you just put the keys on the table. Okay, I just dropped the keys off. Didn't even meet the. And I got out of there.
There was probably
as long
a
as
I
the
had my
money's
money.
good.
I already had my money, so I was gone.
there's probably a sharpshooter, watching over
could
him.
be.
making
But you know
sure
what?
that-
It's like for me, if I'm selling a car to you, for example, I want you to receive the car in
In-
like the greatest shape, like
Yes.
as advertised. I'd feel bad having a car show up to your laneway
dusty and dirty.
full of mud and like tires all covered in gravel or like to debris because I had to go down this like farm road to leave it at a trailer.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
I
maybe
don't
he
know.
was tracking it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Maybe. Anyways.
All
okay.
right.
Let's get
To
down
the
to
carry
task
on.
at hand.
Let's go.
Carry on.
I'm sorry.
So,
Can't believe you remember that.
thank you for
story.
keeping us on track.
Sorry.
Charles. Okay. Here we go.
Best car to mod
Yeah.
for under
Project car. Yep.
project car for 40K. Let's bring up the board.
Who's first?
I always had this specific order, so let me just get there.
Are you going to go first and surprise us?
Oh,
No. Don't peek.
Oh, I saw Prabhul had a car.
Yeah,
I didn't see it. I was
Oh.
I was dialed in on this because I think that's a great pick.
All right, thank you.
So
Great choice.
Let's start with Eric.
So my project car for under 40 is a C5 Z06. Let me take you guys back.
All right.
You guys barely had pubes when this car came out. 1997.
Oh, wait.
1997 was the introduction of year of the
Wait, how old are you?
C5.
No, okay.
And it was a game changer for terms of Corvette, just the C5 in general. And then in 01, they released the Z06, the first version of it. And that's not what I've selected. It was 385 horse. And then 2002 to 2004, the Z06s had 405 horsepower. And you could tell that because on the side, much like with the C6 Z06, they put the horsepower rating on the side, which was cool. What differentiated this car, and I think it's such a cool car, is rear. You can see the obvious visual cues of the rear brake ducts. No other C5 had that, so you know that it's special.
That's what they were for. I thought there was like some.
Yeah,
sort of
it's
aero.
for venting in the rear brakes. This car in its day would beat like a Challenge Stradale. It would beat a 911 around the Nürburgring. I think it had a lot of records, believe it or not.
So during Calabogie track days, there was a blue Corvette
It's
Z06.
like the Electron Blue.
Yeah,
This is called, yeah.
that thing just annihilated everything
Yeah.
on track. But it's again the driver, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So he's modded it tastefully, tuned, and well taken care of. But he was blitzing it on track.
Yeah.
It's a capable car.
Yeah.
It is, and it was very lightweight. It was about just over 3,000 pounds. It's got the LS6 V8 in it. That is the Electron Blue. I would love that version. I like that color a lot. It like little things that you don't know. Even the glass in the car was thinner than a normal Corvette to save weight.
Was it Gorilla Glass like we have on our iPhone device?
I don't know.
So that
Probably not
version,
back then.
That version is like, I think there was two versions of the car because that's like you know how there was a fastback version where the glass goes further back?
Yes, but it wasn't a Z06.
Okay, so the
That's-
fastback was non-Z06.
This was a true coupe. Now, having said that, I think in the trunk it wasn't separated, so the trunk you could go through, but it was a coupe design. What you're describing, there was a convertible, of course. What you've described is like the hatchback, which
Yeah.
was a regular
That's
Corvette.
the convertible.
No, they're
No,
all.
that's the coupe.
A Z06 did not come in a convertible.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
No T-top, nothing
no,
of that
no.
sort. Okay,
It was
I don't know
fixed
why I-
fixed roof.
Can we touch on the pop-up headlight?
It's
Is
funny.
that-
No, I'm
okay.
glad you brought that up because I think there's
I
so
just
many
think that's different. Yeah.
so
I
many
think it's
pros
cool.
to
Yeah.
this car.
Yeah.
If I owned this car, I would never drive it at night because I agree with you. I think it was one of the last cars ever made with pop-up headlights.
yeah.
Like I think that's
Why
a bit
would
of
you
claim to
not?
fame.
Drive
It looks
at-
awful when you see those things
so
pop
when
up.
they're up, they look very halogen.
Yeah.
If
They've
that
got
makes
a-
sense.
People. So this is a modding platform, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
you're not going to keep all this stock. That's an easily changeable.
So
I've never seen a headlight mod.
it's
for
funny
that.
you say that. The race car version of this car that was racing at like Petit Le Mans
Yeah,
actually had a
the C5R.
so it had a clear lens with an actual projector behind the lens that was a regular headlight. It wasn't a pop-up headlight.
You could drive it at
Potentially.
night.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the look of it just like that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
What else would I call it about the car that was special? So it's about 100 pounds lighter than a normal Corvette. Manual. It only came in a 6-speed manual.
And these were NA, right?
Yes.
They weren't supercharged like the ZR
No,
ones.
it's, the
These
LS6
were also
V8.
really popular, not track cars, but autocross cars.
Yeah.
I saw quite like the Miata and the Z06 were always at the autocross.
Which is impressive because
Yeah.
for a bigger car, like if you think autocross, I think of like S2000s,
Yeah.
Smaller, nimbler.
Miata,
Yeah.
right? Easier to manage. Then you see these guys and they're doing equally as
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
or better.
Yeah.
So it's impressive.
The rear tires are so wide on this car.
I think 335.
335s?
Yeah.
There weren't many cars
Really?
on
Yeah,
auto
12,
track.
12 inch.
then,
It
that's
doesn't
so
look like it in the
wide.
picture, but I think it's a
Yeah.
12-inch wheel.
Like I remember when looking at 911s from the back and looking at this, I was like, "Whoa, those are some beefy wheels," and that was what attracted me to these type of cars.
yeah.
They sound great.
Yeah.
V8.
Now, I think they trade I think I sent you an example for 32,000 Canadian. And you can find an even better example, I'm sure, for 45. But as we talked about in the past, like you don't need the cream puff example to do what we'd want to do.
Yeah.
So I would, there's wheel well gaps. So you're going to do suspension.
So coilover systems are not a thing for these cars. They're like what those
Leaf
springs,
springs?
leaf
Leaf
springs, right?
Oh,
So
I think you're
those
right.
are all
Yeah.
a challenge on those cars.
I think there are conversions for the chassis. You can actually
for the C5.
I'm not sure about the C5. I know the C6 there are.
Yeah,
C5 I
and
don't know.
C7 I know as
Yeah.
well.
I'll have to take that
I'm
offline.
sure
But
somebody. Yeah.
an exhaust, you'd put exhaust on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Even the factory exhaust, though, even that was thinner to save weight. But a lot of people put long tubes on them.
Yeah.
Heads and cams are common things, but if you really want to chase horsepower with them, you'd probably put a supercharger. I don't know if I would do that. I think, at our age, 405 horsepower is plenty.
Plenty
Plenty.
for the roads.
Yeah.
The one thing I could never get away from
Interior.
was
It's
the
the interior.
interior.
Yeah, it's a
I
second
know.
That's
con.
what you. Yeah.
It was just like those
It's different.
seats. When I see those seats, do you know what word comes to mind?
Look at it.
Cutlass.
Yeah.
gonna say Cavalier.
Like-
the seats.
It's just.
I guess that was their.
They're that that
trying to make it
folded
comfortable.
soft leather plush.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
I
Manual.
couldn't do it.
it's an easy mod, right? Like you get
For
Yes.
me, it's an
Seats,
easy mod
for
for sure.
I mean,
Yeah,
Alcantara.
seats. You'd do seats. in the
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
Like Recaro.
I think the one neat thing about this car too, and is that mod wise, you're not breaking the bank
No.
either. It's not overly expensive to mod them and make them fun, and
Yeah.
to add that power. So it's
Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of people do cams themselves.
Yeah.
And, so that's
Good pick.
that's
I like
my pick to get three
so in terms of mods, exhaust, suspension,
wheels. I would do wheels.
wheels,
Yeah.
not track day.
I do seats.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Good choice.
It's one of those cars I crush.
Quick question here, Eric. Would you go with the Mario Andretti exhaust, or would you go with the Billy Boat?
Billy Boat.
I'm going Borla all the way.
Look how good it
Borla,
looks.
okay.
Like, yeah, that's a great, that's a great
That's-
example.
with
You know,
slicks on
It's
the
obviously
back.
got the drag set up
we,
in the
actually,
back. But
we actually spoke about some of your followers earlier, because there's a few people that really dislike lowered and modified cars that follow your channel, which is ironic. But tell me that doesn't look fantastic.
It's
That looks amazing.
and it's functional.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
in terms of handling, right?
Yeah.
But it looks great.
There's a point when you lower a car when you ruin dynamics and
Right.
geometry, but
Yeah.
I think that's a
a
very
it
nice,
looks
clean.
clean.
So like the cars that this car I saw on track lowered just
Yeah.
like this. It's not slammed to a point where you're rubbing
Tucking
fenders
and-
like
yeah.
your RS4. Almost.
RS4 doesn't rub.
Doesn't
He's
rub.
trying to
He
make it
tried.
rub.
He tried.
he can't get there. It's just
the fitment's too good.
Yeah,
tight.
but like
That's
you
good.
upgrade this with a coilover kit if there is a conversion to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's just so
Yeah.
much more flexibility to
Yeah.
adjust camber and toe and
Absolutely.
Like that does not look like a $40,000 car.
Does not.
Right?
Matt Farah owns
It's
one.
very exotic.
Oh yeah.
His early parts of
Matt
his
Farah
channel.
also bought a pink Boxster.
Oh,
Oh, he's coming into in touch with himself.
he's got a few cars, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got quite a few.
Questionable.
But this car was
That looks awesome,
what
yeah.
he's driven and
Yeah.
he's babied, modded, done all
Everyone
kinds of
loves
stuff.
these. I mean, our friend Jimmy had
Yeah.
everyone who's ever owned one of these
He
has
regrets
great
selling.
things
Well,
to say.
he's like. That's
Jimmy
what-
had one.
He
Yeah.
did.
Oh,
Yeah, Jimmy. We call him Jimmy Lambo, but Jimmy Orfanos. He had one, and
Jimmy Tron.
yeah.
He
yeah,
trons
yeah,
everything
Tron.
up.
He loved that car. He said it's probably his favorite of all.
Don't worry, he's out. He won't watch us.
Yeah, no,
He's too busy.
Hey, we just send him that little clip. Jimmy
Yeah,
Tron.
no. But he loved that car, and he's one of his favorites in terms of like ownership and just mods and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah,
So were these cars all just regular like metal or aluminum, or was there any
I
like?
have no idea.
No, this one, the C6, as I talked, had started having carbon fiber quarter panels.
So this one was just regular.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there was something about, believe it or not, like balsa wood in the car.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
On the
in terms of being light but strong. Yeah, I fact check me on that, but I think I'd read something with that in the past about.
Somebody
will.
right now.
Yeah, you idiot.
You're
You're
just
so
waiting. You
stupid.
go to Home Depot for
Wood in
oil
a
change.
car.
oh, that was a
We should
layup.
do this live next time. I'm sure
Yeah.
people will try.
Oh
that.
yeah.
All right, let's move on in the
Great
interest
All
of
right.
time.
Great choice. though.
Great
Right.
choice. I like
Good
it.
pick,
Yeah.
Eric.
Batting 1,000 here.
Yeah.
So
that's
wait,
good.
are you going to be doing this?
Well, I still have Viper.
Viper,
dreams,
I think.
right?
Oh, yeah.
But
Okay.
But it's over 40,000.
Yeah,
so this is a
that's
good
true.
sub
So this
40,000
is-
car.
I mean,
I
I'm
understood the assignment.
Yeah. I'm curious if out of this conversation, if one of us is going to get triggered by this and
I
go
think
buy
Tarcy
something.
is. I really think Tarcy's going to realize his dream
Tarsy's going to realize what
of
he's
his
missing.
project car.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Very
get to it
I
then.
just might.
Lucas, you're up next.
Yeah, I chose the E92 M3. The E90s were a little more rare, especially with carbon.
Don't you already own this?
I do not own this.
It's not
no.
the same?
No, it's different. Different.
Sorry, wait, this is E92.
E92.
Yeah.
This was kind of a strange generation because they ran away from the 6-cylinder inline 6 motor. They put in a big 4-liter V8. So it's
High
a
revving.
high revving V8. Sounds gorgeous. NA obviously. Styling wise, it departed a little bit from this like signature BMW look, but now that you see what's coming out, it's looking better and better in my opinion.
Prices are reasonable right
Reasonable. You can
How
get
much is that?
yeah. So that one there is about a 38,000.
now for like
It's a great
150.
buy.
150K,
Yeah.
160K. So you can get. I mean, there's ones for 60, but they're again
Low mileage.
low mileage, prime examples,
Yeah.
mint condition. But project car, you can get these for under $40,000.
They ran to like 2011 or something like that.
2013.
Oh yeah.
2013 was but that's the LCI like last
Yeah.
generation, which
That's
is
why-
that one's not going to be 40,000.
It's like I saw one for 80. It was like a 2012.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, so good. 40,000 clicks. I'm like,
Yeah,
damn.
And what is that, like 420 horse?
that's 414
V8.
V8 4-liter manual gearbox or
Yeah.
DCT. So it depends. Manuals were a little more rare. They do fetch more money usually.
Yeah.
But the DCT was a great transmission.
It was
And the coupe, not sedan.
Coupe.
Did they have that in a sedan?
the
They
E90
do.
was the sedan.
Yes.
E92 is the coupe. And I
Okay.
think it was E91 was the convertible or
So
something.
the E93 was the convertible, but E90s were made in I think lower numbers, or they were just more desirable.
I think
the-
these were more desirable, right?
No, the E90s were.
As
I think
a
more for
daily car?
usability, rear doors, pick up your parents from the airport, that kind of thing.
He knows nothing of the sort, Lucas.
It's foreign.
Take a cab, mom.
E91 wagon.
Wagon,
We didn't get that.
but that was a non-M, right? So
Yeah.
there's no M variant in the
Right.
wagon. So
And-
E93 was the convertible available in an M.
Right.
And then there was E90 4-door, E92 2-door. But before, I mean, I was always an M3 fan. I liked the rear fenders that kind of like popped out.
Check out Dubsess. You'll see why he's an M3 fan.
Yeah. But the E92 always had a more slender looking like rear end.
It didn't have the flares.
Didn't have the big
and I think
flares.
that's why people like the sedan, because
That's
it did
right.
flare.
Yeah. But
That
see, if you
car
go
is
up to that
great.
picture there, go up a little bit, Prabhul. Right there, the back fenders don't look as aggressive as like the E90,
yeah.
E92. But I think this car modded looks fantastic, and there's so much potential. It still has very modern lines. It doesn't look like an old car at all.
Yeah.
And the interior actually is beautiful, especially if you get like a non-navigation package.
Is
where
that
it's
is
clear.
that a
The
carbon
hump?
roof for the picture? Or?
Carbon? Yeah.
That is carbon roof.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's
the
pretty-
E90s.
Yeah,
did-
that's pretty neat.
Pretty
actually,
for a
to
car
have that
under
option.
40, right?
Yeah. The E90s actually didn't have a carbon roof option.
Okay.
But the E92s did. So that was the introduction to a carbon roof on the M3 chassis.
I think this is such a good looking car. I keep asking myself why I don't even bother like looking at this and pulling the trigger on this.
Because
Yeah.
you're looking at M2s when you're in the BMW.
You know
dealership.
why? I think the main reason is this would be a project car.
Yeah.
Like if you bought a car like this, if you're spending $40,000, you have to look at paint. You have to look at seats.
Yeah.
You have to look at rod bearings. You have to look at a lot of different
You have to
things
put a few-
to get the car sorted out. Is it a fun project car? Definitely. I think there's also a lot of potential, a lot of aftermarket parts and support when it comes to like lips and
Yeah.
diffusers and wheels, and there's so many parts that are available for this chassis that I think it's a great project car.
Add a
Absolutely.
lip, side skirt, little
Doesn't
duck
take
lip,
much.
Yeah.
Yep.
wheels,
proper
suspension.
Like even
fits.
what's the guy's name there? From Upset's Garage.
Matt Mormon.
Matt Mormon.
Yeah.
So he's been on he had an E92 M3. He sold it. He had a Carrera. He had other cars, and then he bought an, I think, Le Mans Blue E92 M3.
I remember
But
that
it was
one.
higher mileage, and he was always in search of that like unicorn
yeah.
E92, and he found one with like 3,000 or 300 miles, whatever it was,
And he replaced like
and it's perfection.
Yeah.
And he says this car is like not moving; it's staying in my garage.
Yeah, it's,
I thought it was a giveaway car from
Not that one. No, that one is keeping it.
because he's put carbon ceramic brakes on it. He's
Yes.
upgraded all the suspension,
Everything.
done everything.
like joints and control arms.
Recaros in it, like all. Basically, he made it more modern.
Yeah.
Without making it look aftermarket.
I would so love. Anyways,
Yeah.
You'd love someone to get this and do it.
and do
Yeah.
a car story on it.
yeah.
Hey, are you getting it?
Yeah.
And then
I
sell
loved it. So you know what actually is funny? So my M3, right? I bought my car based on IND's build car. They had a E92 M3. They bought in white, and then they stripped it. They painted it Atlantis metallic, and they threw $100,000 worth of parts on the car with
Wow.
seats, superchargers, everything. But it was Atlantis. So and I saw the car. I'm like, that looks fantastic. So I built my car based on IND's kind of like project car. And then a few years later, I see the car is for sale. So somebody bought IND's car and they were reselling it. And I'm like, how cool would it be to have an E92 M3 in the garage next to my F80 M3,
That would be
both
a-
in Atlantis, right?
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. I think they were asking like 70,000 US for the car.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is a car that was completely built, like full interior, door
Oh,
cards.
you got all your mods with it too, right?
It was
Oh,
everything. Like the calipers were polished.
Just splash a picture up in the edit on that. It'd be cool to see the car he's
Yeah.
renting.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
okay. If you have
yeah,
pictures,
yeah.
send it over.
IND.
Yeah. I
Atlantis.
mean, they do it right.
The other thing I always liked about was the interior as well. Even with the whole infotainment thing, that's
Yeah.
still it. I think it aged well.
I agree. That is
Yeah.
a
So
timeless
actually,
interior.
the ones with navigation are less desirable.
They
More peop-
are.
Is it just because the nav's outdated?
I think-
Yeah,
kind of
the
thing?
nav
Like,
is outdated and it's a bit like it's slow.
So you got like Pong, like turn left here.
Yeah,
But here's the thing too: is I believe that there are more with the navigation
There
than
are.
without. To
There
find
are.
one without
Yeah.
is like
Rare.
unicorn,
Yeah.
right? Like it's very hard to find.
and really, like,
Sorry, what year is this? Is this like 09?
this is like a 2009 or 2010,
Okay.
2011.
2013.
Okay. So the early days of nav.
Yeah.
I mean,
But nice
up until
interior.
2013, like the overall structure remains the same. Internal components are upgraded with better
Yeah.
computers and all that kind of stuff.
But you know, I like the ergonomics of the dash.
Yeah.
How it's so clean, so linear. That this car, I think, like if you look at it, minus the nav, obviously,
yeah,
it's kind of timeless.
Yeah.
It
I
brings
agree.
you back to the old BMWs where all you do is you upgrade the seats and you can refinish the dash and it looks good.
chunky steering wheel.
Chunky
Yeah.
steering wheel. Yeah.
Awesome.
No,
Love
good
it.
Pick, good pick.
That's awesome.
All right. Looks like we're 2 for 2.
Yeah. Well, what are we at? 30 minutes in. Let's move it on. Let's move on
Sorry,
to Tarcy.
keep it short.
Tarcy,
okay?
keep
Keep it short over
Let's
there.
go Tarcy. Well.
What a surprise, right?
Self-serving.
Shocker.
All
I didn't have
see is
pictures of
shitty
your
offsets,
exact car.
Tarcy.
What's that?
I didn't have pictures of your exact
No,
car,
that's okay. That's okay. It's pretty close.
but that is amazing.
Yes.
So what made you? What made you?
Hold on. Does Tarcy have an RS4?
I don't know.
I do.
Oh.
So this is great. The fact that we're doing this is fantastic because I'm already, I actually got my project car. I bought it last year. So
Ahead of the game.
yeah. Knowing that you were going to do this podcast.
He doesn't even like the car. He just wanted to be on the show.
And now after this spot, it's up for sale, by the way. Anybody who's interested in buying a 08 RS4 in
The whole
amazing
500
condition.
people.
Yeah. So, I mean, you guys know I'm an Audi guy. I like Audis. But this is, price point for what you get. I think for me, it's a no-brainer. Like, it looks good. It's got power. Given, 07, 08, 420 V8.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was like the good Audi days when Audi understood what the customers wanted and
Yeah.
they
Right.
built those cars.
Right.
I think this is the last generation of real enthusiast Audi cars.
Well, they had the R8.
The R8 after this. I'd
Yeah.
say.
R8 was in a
Yeah, with the manual V10. Like, I
Well,
think that was
when they killed it here in Canada, they
It
got
was
the
2
R8
years. Yeah.
and it had the same motor in the V8,
Correct. Somewhat.
So-
yeah.
tuned
And
a little differently.
at least in North America, because in Europe, you could get yourself an RS4 in a wagon, version for a good period.
There was
of time.
no breakage.
No,
essentially.
no,
Yeah.
right? And now, what's the rule? 14 or 15 years you
I
can
think
import them.
15
So
years,
now
yeah.
you're seeing the wagons, the B7 RS4
Coming
wagons
here
coming
more.
to North America.
So, it's funny because, we posted this thing about buying 40 RS4s.
10 RS4s
10 RS4s.
instead of a Lamborghini Aventador.
I
Yeah.
think there's 6
instead
of
of
them in
one
the
of
Auto
them.
Trader, and he might have bought them.
There are people from the UK that were commenting of like, there's no way this car is 40 grand. And I'm like, in Canada, it's for 40
a
grand.
well-sorted, a well-sorted.
Were they thinking it's more or less?
No, so in the UK, it's like 80,
they're doing a comparison.
80,000 pounds,
which is-
70,000 pounds.
but
For an RS4?
yeah.
But for this generation,
For the
No
B7.
way.
no
Yeah.
way.
Well, I'll have to take
there's
a
no
look at the
arbitrage here because these are right-hand drive.
Oh, yeah.
So it doesn't really.
Yeah.
I'll have to
benefit
take a
us,
look, but yeah.
And in terms of price point for these, when I was looking as well, because I've actually owned one of these before. So when I bought mine, I think it's got to be 8 or 9 years ago. I can't remember.
Tarcy's on the way to buying the 4 RS4s.
Yeah.
He's the closest person to having 10 RS4s.
Yeah,
I just have to keep them in the portfolio.
Yeah, I got to keep it. But that was a tough one to sell, but, for sure. But the price points now for something like this, in my research last year was you could get a well-sorted version with the nice seats, because now people are doing the wingback seats, which are awesome, which eventually I think that's something I want to do in this car, but hard to find and extremely expensive. And
I know a guy.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you know a guy, that's right. And
From Poland.
yeah, and then in terms of price point, depends what you want. Like me going into this, I said I don't want the perfect car. Like the maintenance was important to me, but not like it wasn't a deal breaker. Like there were things that I was willing to take on myself in terms of having my local indie shop take care of or whatnot, just having it taken care of. But
Like, did you consider like the last carbon cleaning
that would have
of
been
this
nice,
car?
but it wasn't a deal breaker.
Okay.
If it didn't have it, I would have had it done. It's something that's it's now common on
Yeah.
these cars, and
Yeah.
even beyond the RS4.
But what I liked about your car is a lot of this is blacked out, right?
So I have a titanium pack,
Okay.
which I'm glad you brought that up because it's ultra special. So the RS4 is one thing, the B7, but then if you can find yourself a titanium package, it's also nice. Now, so the mirrors are grayed out, the wheels, the OEM wheels get grayed out, and then you've got all the black trim, as you were saying, black grille, black surround around the grille, which is nice. The interior, you lose the carbon trim for the black, a black gloss trim. So, but that's easily replaceable.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
wanted carbon, that's something simple you could do. But I actually do like the black.
And anything you don't like about the car? Like any regrets?
You know what? Nothing really. I mean, it's not. If there was one knock, would be the shifter. I know it sounds like minor.
rubbery?
What?
Yeah. So it's not like, it's not. It's kind of slushy
Sloppy.
a bit. Yeah. But that's easily fixable. Short shift kit.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that common with these cars, or is it just your example?
I think having owned one before and knowing it now, it's similar. It's not, But again, it's an 08.
It could also be the age of the car and the
Yeah.
mileage.
Yeah,
It just
it's
depends.
an 08.
Bushings are like
Yeah.
worn
I'm being
out.
picky. It's drivable. It's fine. But if you want a sportier feel, get yourself a short shift kit or
Yeah, I
I mean,
agree.
just
It's the same with the BMW manuals as well, right? Like if you look at the E90, people complained about it being a rubbery shifter, but that's kind of the characteristics of the M cars, anyways,
that's
right?
and that's how I would describe this, rubbery, right? So I mean, it's not perfect, but it's still good. I mean, it's a fun car to drive, and
It's not a GT3 type manual.
No,
Like-
absolutely not. But
It's not a Toyota GR.
yeah,
That was
That's
pretty
a great shifter.
That felt close
I
to a
thought-
GT3.
Yeah, it felt good.
yeah.
How many cylinders does that car have?
Who cares?
3.
You got to
Three.
bring this up every time.
Oh
Boom.
yes, I saw that. That was well played. Well played. I saw that you popped that up. But yeah, so that's my pick for sure. And
So we're going to feature this in Car Stories?
we will.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will. There's already even
Tarcy just got his wheels fitted.
a few things
Yeah.
done.
Suspension's
And
done.
if I can, your car looks better than any of these examples.
Yes.
Already
Yeah.
done amazing on
we
it.
should
I
put a
appreciate
little pull up a little
I'll
Instagram.
put a picture after.
Yeah,
Well, I
I'll
think
show
you're
you a
doing
picture
a
after.
intro video or
Got a few
whatever.
in the chat.
Yeah, we saw him in the intro. when we-
yeah.
Yes, of course.
The intros,
Yeah.
you see it there. You
We
get
got the little sunlight
peek.
shining through. Oh,
Yeah.
that was
yeah,
good.
so I've done a few things already, and I bought the car. Not we talk. You say project car. It's not. I mean, you can go
Yeah.
one end of
Extreme.
the spectrum or the other,
Yeah.
right? Like you can go wild. And
That's not a
not the
frame off
intent.
restoration.
I don't know,
No.
Tarcy. A few Thai dinners. We might be in a
Turbos.
yeah.
You know,
No.
we haven't been to that Thai place yet. Ever since I got my
BBS.
BBS wheels,
Yeah, I
we
think
haven't
people are
gone back
afraid to
there.
go back.
I'm like, thank you.
People are afraid to go back.
That's why we come
so,
here.
Yeah.
But so that's
Good choice.
my
I
choice.
like it.
Yeah,
I am
thank
I
you.
am super excited about Prabhul's choice.
I am too.
Yeah.
You want to take guesses?
I'm
You
intrigued.
probably
Well, we
already
all
saw-
think it's going to be something Porsche,
Boxer
like
S.
996 or
or a 996.
You'd be surprised.
I saw it,
Okay.
so I'm not going to comment.
is it an
It's a
S2000?
BMW.
No.
I don't know. I honestly didn't see it, so I'm intrigued.
okay.
Is it a BMW? Okay.
I think it is.
All right,
All right,
it
let's
is,
get
yeah.
to
It is. It
All right.
is.
I think it is.
Drum roll, please.
Oh,
Yes.
E92 M3.
I'm surprised.
Wow,
I'm surprised.
nicely done.
Good choice. Good choice.
nicely
Yeah.
done.
Hey, minds think alike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
Minds think alike.
You did say great.
No, I did. I did.
Yeah. Good choice, though.
So
But you've been thinking about this. It's,
Yeah.
Ever
ever since we talked about this,
Yes.
we've talked about this
Yes.
M3,
I know you've
E92
mentioned
M3
it.
for a long time. When I was transitioning from my Audi A4 into the S5,
S5. Yeah.
I was cross-shopping this with a C63 AMG. I wanted this so bad to be my daily driver. I didn't pull the trigger mainly because it was rear-wheel drive and I couldn't use it in the winter. I was
Yeah.
too chicken to do it.
Right.
So I went with the S5. I'm like thinking, damn. I even got kit. And then again, when we do the next upgrade, I cross-shopped this car again
Yeah.
and still didn't pull it off.
You mean instead of the RS5?
instead of the
S4.
S4.
S4. Okay.
I got Kim to sit in it. We went for a drive, test drove it.
But did you want to drive this car in the winter? Was this something you were thinking about doing?
So before I met a lot of you,
Yeah.
before I bought my 911,
I was normal.
I
Yeah.
I was a one car dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I was happy to have one
You
car.
were
that
the
could do it all.
one Porsche Carrera 4S.
Does
guy.
it all? Yeah. It's funny. It wasn't a
But that's where I'm
4S.
going is the S4 makes complete sense in our climate
Yeah, it
where
does.
we live
Right. It
versus
does.
something like that.
Yes.
If it's a second car, 100%.
Yeah, I couldn't quite afford a second car at the time,
Right, right.
so I could only do the one car.
Okay.
And I was like, I could do this, but I'll be sliding around everywhere, being
Yes.
unsafe potentially. And I was driving to Canada every day.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
needed
no, that's-
something.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think it's a beautiful car to all the points that you raised as well. I even cross-shopped this last year when I was looking
Wow.
to spend another on another project car before I even pulled the trigger on an M2.
Right.
But what deterred me from this was all the examples were high mileage, 150,000 kilometers. And then you look at research and you go, okay,
Rod bearings.
rod bearing issues. It's like, okay, then throttle actuators are another common problem with these cars as well. What else? The Vano system, that's a common
Not so much in the
fixer-upper.
E92s, more so in the E46. But yeah, I mean, it's. I think the main issue is rod bearings,
Yeah.
and I think most people when they reach 150,000, they just have them changed.
I mean, how do you even know if a car would have rod bearing
You
issues?
just change them. You just don't. It's
Just preventative.
preventative.
Yeah.
What
service.
happens if you don't change it and it fails? Engine explosion.
Well, I'm sure there would be some sort of
Metal shaving.
knocking or something.
Yeah, I
of
mean,
some sort.
even
you
when
know.
you'll know, and even when I had my car serviced at RMP in Toronto, I had my crank hub done. He does all he does is crank hubs on F80s and rod bearings on E90s, and you can see the wear marks and everything else.
Yeah.
It's
Actually,
just-
your crank hub was
my crank hub on
like
my
a thread,
F80 was partially spun,
which is wild.
which is wild. So I caught it just in time.
That's crazy.
But that's every generation has its kind of like weak points.
Yeah.
And that's the rod bearings. The F80 is the crank hub.
Do you remember Rezo was almost going to get an orange
Orange
M3,
one.
He
Yeah,
did.
that's right.
He
Out of
was
path.
looked at.
but an RMP inspected
at
it.
it.
RMP inspected it. So it wasn't, rod bearings weren't bad on that car. I think the biggest concern he had with that car is that after inspection, it showed up that it was modified prior. It had a
think they had-
supercharger.
yeah.
It had missing
Oh,
hardware. It
and
had
it
a
had
bunch of
stuff
stuff.
removed.
It had a history that wasn't
bit of a
wasn't
Frankenstein.
disclosed. So he wanted, and this wasn't just an M3 like sub 40. This was like a $70,000 Lime Rock edition LCI. So it was a car he wanted original. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
And what would you do to this car? Like what kind of mods if you?
Front lip, side skirt, wing, not like a
Like
Terry wing?
spoiler.
no, not a
Not a
Terry
Terry
wing,
wing.
but like a duck lip would be nice.
Yeah.
Rear diffuser, wheels, coilovers,
Yeah.
and seats.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
think that's what,
Heavy.
like probably 50, 60 grand worth of mods.
No, not that much. You can
40?
there's like for these cars, you can get a front lip for $3,200 US. You can get one for $600.
Yeah.
And the quality is obviously different, but you don't have to spend.
It's a consumable part. Why bother?
So there's a lot of parts you can get that still look good for realistic amount of money.
And the thing is with BMW, the community is ridiculous.
Huge.
Like it's
Huge.
to your point, you've got a massive range of what you can buy. That looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I've
I
always
do
found
white.
BMW owners to be a bit.
Well, there's that too. That's kind of
Little
where I
bit.
was getting.
See,
Tarcy used to be a BMW driver.
I did. I owned an F80 myself.
I don't understand this aura around BMW drivers.
I think it's just because there's.
I think
a lot
it's just a
Yeah,
stereotype.
there's a lot of them,
I think so.
and then there's the age group. Like you've got teenagers to,
Yeah.
50, 60, driving
Yeah.
around. It caters to all age types. So
Yeah, and the brand's been around. That's the one Reza was
So,
looking
no,
at.
that's actually a GTS. That's ultra rare. So that car is probably $200,000 plus.
Okay, let's
similar,
But
though.
it's an E92
Orange,
nonetheless.
wing, yeah.
Let's-
All
Let's
right,
take it
we
off.
almost nailed it this episode. Almost, but
If you scroll down, is there a Porsche down there? Like, you go further down.
it's like
No,
gotcha.
I'm shocked.
Double click.
that-
it.
I have to
on.
say,
I'm
on the
just
way
making fun of
here,
you.
we were having a little contest with Eric,
what
and
are the
we could have
chances?
sworn that Prabhul was going to choose a 996
996.
Carrera or something.
Yeah, I thought it.
Well, you know what? The 996 though, I don't know what they're going for, and I haven't looked, but
4S or turbo?
No, the
Like a-
996
like a-
turbo.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
I'd
but-
say the 996 turbo.
Well, they're over 40.
They're over 40.
Well, let's just say
Okay,
Carrera.
I was going to say
Carrera
because
S.
you could. That was probably one of the best bargain buys pre-COVID, I guess. Or
Yeah.
Pre-COVID.
you could get one for under 40.
Yeah.
In the 30s.
But
For
now
a
it's
decent
80
one.
grand.
80 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah, during COVID times,
Doubled.
80 grand.
Yeah.
This-
The only thing with
those
996
headlights.
is not even the headlights. It's the way the front
Well, the-
fender meets the door.
There's that.
It's
The
a lot of
interior
small-
also is.
Interior. There's just. I think the car just doesn't look fluid like the 997 does.
Well, that's it. When you look at a 996 and then you go, you jump from like right to the 2007, like even a 996 turbo, 997.1, like what I had. Mine was an 08, but
Yeah.
07, 08 was the same. The motor was completely different. The interior was different, but that interior carried forward for
Yeah.
a very long time.
No,
Yeah,
just
with
until
minor
the dot. I
tweaks.
think the dot. Well,
Yeah,
997s.
with minor tweaks, so it
Yeah,
was
the dot
very
2 was
subtle.
updated.
Yeah.
But then the front end, right?
Yeah.
The headlights.
That was the biggest kick to it.
Yeah.
The car mechanically was
yeah, it
Was
was way better
excellent.
than
It was
the
great,
993.
yeah.
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 First air cooled. No,
No, 93 is the last
Yeah.
air cooled. It was the first water cooled.
Yeah.
And then 07, 08 turbo had the Mezger. The
Yeah.
only 2 years that had it, and that was a big deal. 'cause
So
those
that
things were
generation
bulletproof.
has a GT3. That's when the GT3 was introduced.
Yeah.
And the GT2.
Right. Oh, that
But
was.
those are
That was.
But see,
yeah,
there's
those are-
there's a 930 and 964.
Yeah.
993 kind of pushed the boundary of that design. It was already kind of
Yeah.
ahead of its time, and then 996 jumped like it was almost trying to be a generation beyond
Ahead.
its generation.
Yeah.
and it just didn't quite make it.
didn't
And then they
catch.
slowed down.
Yeah.
they brought out the 997.
Yeah.
and ever since then it's been
Yeah.
a steady
Yeah.
growth.
It's
right?
been an
A-
evolution. And
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's,
what was it? I think the era for the 996, I think a lot of manufacturers were doing this sort of massive headlight design.
Yeah.
And so they were just trying to keep up with the trend.
Yeah.
it's almost like I don't know who was drawing it, but it was like
No,
Guy must have
what
one
they
too
took
many of
is they
these.
took an egg and
They
just
broke
broke
an
it
egg.
on a
well,
fried
that's what they
egg.
called
It's
them,
like,
the fried egg
Yeah.
or the scramble, whatever they called.
Yeah,
the
fried eggs,
headlights, yeah. But you can. That's an easy fix.
Just vinyl.
Vinyl wrap.
It
That
looks
looks so
tacky.
bad.
It
You can't
looks so
tell.
tacky. I mean, if
from
you
good, good
squint
from far.
one eye and like,
Yeah.
But you know what? As bad as the headlights were, the turbo had nicer headlights because they had that little recess underneath.
Yeah.
They didn't
But
just
I
go
think
straight.
all of the later 996s had that.
Well, the
Mine did
4S,
as
the
well.
turbo,
I
the
think mine did
GT2.
too.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the Carrera didn't have that headlight until further. You're
No,
right.
I think mine did.
Yours did.
Yes.
Mine was an
Yes.
03.
You had a
Yeah,
996.
I had a
Yeah,
996.
That's right. He's been
Midnight
very
metallic.
quiet about
He's
it.
been quiet. He's been.
Ashamed.
I actually
No,
like the 996. I mean,
My biggest regret on the 996 was for another $5,000 at that point in time. This is $07 traded at par. I also bought mine and mine was in New
you did
York.
well then.
I could have bought a 993 turbo. It was like $10,000 more. It wasn't much more.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You might want another drink.
I know.
Hindsight. Yeah.
I
Predict that.
live with that decision every day of my
Next
life.
podcast, car buying regrets.
Yeah, regrets.
Yeah.
I-
Ooh.
I have none.
We don't have
Yeah, right.
car selling
I bought
regrets.
two RS4s, two R8s,
Yeah.
Gen 1s. Like, I keep coming back.
That's crazy, man.
Maybe
No,
it's a
and-
car selling regret.
You know what? I have
Yeah.
a feeling Tarsy's going to be back in a 997 turbo.
Yeah.
I do look at them from time to time.
But how do you feel about paying more for these cars when you bought them?
Stupid.
Yeah,
stupid.
well, you'd have to. I mean, it's like, but again, I mean, if you really want it and you can afford
Yeah.
to do it,
Yeah.
You know
Do
the
it.
thing
Money's
is,
no object.
like paying for more for these cars, it doesn't make sense, right? But let's say, like, I think the value is going up so much because new cars are so expensive.
Yeah.
They're
It-
just following the suit.
It only
Yeah.
doesn't make sense if you think it's going to be worth less in the future.
Yeah.
well, there you go.
Right.
And if it's gonna be, it's worth more, then you're.
And I
look
think
like
the
a
cars
hero.
we're talking about probably aren't.
Right.
Yeah.
At least not in the long term.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what? Like GT3 money right now, paying $100,000 over. I just can't stomach that right
That's
now.
wild. Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's just stupid.
That's silly.
It's silly,
I
yeah.
just
So
wait,
when's
sit on
yours,
my hands
when's yours
until it
arriving?
goes now.
When's your GT3 arriving?
so silly. When's it arriving, Prabhul?
Mine, it'll be here in a couple.
Stop asking questions. It might become a reality.
Yeah.
I got to get the M2 first.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be
That's a gonna be
All right.
a fun project. car.
That will be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was more than $40,000.
Well,
Yes.
That didn't.
Well, I
couldn't-
think we made history because I think we have 4 great
Yes,
picks.
solid-
I don't think there was
all
a lemon
solid
in the
choices.
bunch.
So wait, you've executed on your $40,000
I have.
project
Yes.
car.
Yeah.
How about you guys?
I have an M3 of sorts.
Yeah, I guess you're halfway there. No,
I would actually love to do a build with an E90.
You've talked about this for a
I
long
have because
time.
I think
Yeah.
it's a great looking car. It's a well proportioned car, great motor. It's got a lot of potential and interior, exterior, it just looks like a timeless car that I think will do well in 10, 15 years even. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to have
Agreed.
one and modify it.
Now, we've all talked about the E90s for so long. One of us have to do it at
Yeah,
some point.
I know.
For Eric, though, would you buy 10 of these 10 of these Corvettes over an RS4 for future value?
over an RS4. Well, I don't need to buy 10. What do you mean?
40.
Oh, versus an RS4.
yeah. You know,
I don't know because I think that I would look at the production numbers, but I'm pretty sure they made more of those than those.
Those
Yeah.
are
Right.
limited.
think so.
I think they're
But-
just, yeah.
No, I mean, hey, like the varieties, the spice of life. I would do both. Maybe buy one, diversify. Got to diversify your
Oh,
portfolio.
5 each.
There you go.
Right?
Five each?
Buy
There you
5
go.
and 5.
You might have to
Maybe
fight
have
him for
maybe throw in a BMW.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just further now. If you had to choose one, only one on the board, which one would you pick? Would you stick with your choice?
I've already bought it, so for me, that's my choice.
Yeah.
And not
No,
to
but
say that others didn't cross my mind.
That's
Yeah.
never been something that stopped you from buying another car.
Right.
Yeah. True. Yeah. I
F-
mean,
favorite car on the board is the
It's
RS4 for you?
RS4.
I would stick with my M3.
Yeah.
M3.
Yeah.
I might do his car.
Yeah.
I like the RS4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, has Eric driven the RS4 yet?
No, I haven't.
No,
Okay, let's go.
you guys can.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up.
It's open for.
Maybe I'll
yeah.
hate it. Let's
No.
I'll stick with my Z06.
Have you ever owned an E90?
I have not. The only BMW I've owned is the F80 M3, which I
Okay.
loved. Great,
Yeah.
great car. Because this guy too, he's was an influence for sure. So, but awesome car.
But actually, I'm interested to see Eric's review on the RS4 because he's been praising this car for numerous occasions.
Well, I'm not a stranger to I had the A4S line of that.
yeah.
So wait, we still have some light out. We should probably stop and
Do a Eric car
drive?
review on Tarcy's car.
4-wheel burnout.
All right, let's just get another glass of whiskey and
Yeah.
go for a drive.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
All right,
Sounds good.
so thank you very much for this one.
that was solid.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you, Tarcy. Hopefully we can do more.
Hopefully, we'll come back again for sure.
I hope you all enjoyed this as well. Let us know what your one car that you would use as a project base for under 40 grand. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you like this,
subscribe,
do all those things.
the bell.
Notification
Hit the
bell.
bell.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Thumbs
All
up.
All right. Thank you all.
Cheers.
Cheers.